How serious are you about the Shakur fight, and do you want to unify with Devin now that you're the champion?
Oh, I'm open to all those, whatever. Shakur, somebody that I fought in the amateurs, and we went at it, and I felt like I beat him.
Shakur building that fight, saying he'll show Ryan levels regardless. 144, let's do it. Ryan saying, all right, let's run it. Two of the best. Yes, Ryan is in that conversation once again. As a world champion, you get to be called one of the best in the world at their weights, meet in the middle, and let's throw the down.
Shakur at 44, what do you think?
I love the fight. I think that's perfect. I think it'll be a lot of excitement to that fight. It's a big money fight. Ryan Garcia is somebody that comes in there, you never know which version of him is going to show up. So if the good version of him show up, he gets spanked. If the bad version of him show up, he gets spanked. Either way.
Ryan Garcia just dropped a bombshell call-out that has the entire boxing world buzzing. And Shakur Stevenson's response is about to make this the most explosive rivalry in the sport right now. We're talking about two undefeated superstars who have been circling each other since their amateur days. And after Ryan's devastating performance against Mario Barrios, he immediately grabbed the microphone and called out the one fighter everyone said he was afraid to face. But here's what's wild about this whole situation. Both fighters are claiming they have the blueprint to destroy each other, and the trash talk that's happening on social media right now is absolutely unhinged. Shakur posted on X saying, "I'm gonna cook Ryan badly, remember I said it," while Ryan's camp is firing back with footage from their amateur encounters, claiming they already know exactly how to expose Shakur's weaknesses.
And Shakur knows that he can't get lazy with me at all. That's why, he was looking at me right now and goes, "Ooh, you're not even big." I'm like, bro, you were scared if I was big? That's crazy. That's what you were scared of? All right. So I got a little glimpse on what he was kind of worried about. But size don't win fights at all. You seen that today. Mario was bigger than me, but I was quicker. And, but I want that fight. I feel like I'm always up to the challenge of anybody. There's always a way to win. Just gotta figure it out.
Ryan.
The fight is being targeted for 144 pounds, which is absolutely perfect because neither fighter has to drain themselves to make an unnatural weight. And Oscar de la Hoya just confirmed that this matchup is at the top of Golden Boy's priority list. But here's where it gets interesting. De la Hoya also mentioned that Ryan now has way more options than just, which sounds like psychological warfare to me. They're trying to make Shakur think he needs this fight more than Ryan does, and honestly, that might be true. While Ryan just captured his first world title in spectacular fashion, Shakur's been sitting on his WBC belt without a marquee opponent in sight. The business dynamics here are fascinating because both fighters are in their absolute primes. Both have massive social media followings, and both represent the future of American boxing. But Lopez's star power has exploded to another level after that Barrios performance.
Keep working that jab.
Yeah, let's do it. Hey, back in the day, right?
It's the biggest fight right here.
I thought you was bigger than this.
Now let me tell you what nobody else is talking about. The amateur history between these two is absolutely crucial to understanding this rivalry. These guys have been testing each other since they were teenagers, and Ryan genuinely believes he has Shakur figured out from those early encounters. But here's the kicker: Shakur's confidence is through the roof right now because he just delivered a masterclass performance against Teofimo Lopez, completely shutting down a former unified champion who was supposed to be his toughest test. The way Shakur's controlled every single round, dictated the pace, and made it look effortless has him convinced he's operating on a completely different level than everyone else in the division. He's not just talking trash for social media clout. This dude genuinely believes no current fighter can touch his skill level, and after watching him dismantle Lopez with surgical precision, it's hard to argue with that confidence.
What do you think a fight with Shakur Stevenson looks like? They talked about fighting each other next. What do you think that fight would look like?
I love the fight. I mean, look, there's so many options there for Ryan now. Everybody wants to fight him. Everybody wants to dethrone the pretty boy, you know. And now that he has a world title, everybody's after him. So yeah, I think it's a matter of just regrouping, let Ryan rest, and he'll make his decision.
But wait, it gets even more intense. Henry Garcia, Ryan's father, just went on record saying his son has emerged as the ultimate superstar after 10 years of grinding. And this latest performance is undeniable proof that all the doubters were wrong about Ryan's power and heart. Meanwhile, boxing fans on social media are absolutely roasting Shakur's fighting style, with one viral post saying, "Shakur fights like a sloth and has no chance against Ryan's speed and power." That's brutal, but it highlights a real concern about Shakur's entertainment value versus his technical brilliance. The casual boxing fans want action and knockouts, and while Shakur's precision is beautiful to watch for purists, Ryan brings that explosive violence that gets people out of their seats. This creates a fascinating stylistic matchup where technique meets raw power, and the winner could define the direction of the entire division.
Was a judge in our fight, but she had like influence on like the judging of the fight.
What about him saying that he thought that you think he really won the fight? How close was that fight?
It was an easy fight. It was not a hard fight. He's lying.
All right. Yeah. So Shakur Stevenson accepts your challenge, Ryan Garcia, at 144. Yeah. Coppinger says he can't make 44 anyway.
I'll be at his fight. Tell him talk that shit.
Here's where Tim Bradley's breakdown gets absolutely wild, and this analysis is blowing up because it perfectly captures why this fight is so unpredictable. Bradley admitted he was actually bored watching Ryan's recent performance, despite all the hype, because Ryan landed countless clean shots but still couldn't finish Barrios. That's a legitimate concern about Ryan's consistency as a top-level puncher. He has the speed and accuracy to hurt anyone, but can he close the show against elite opposition? But then Bradley flipped the script and explained why the Shakur fight would be completely different. He emphasized that this matchup would come down to pure skill inside the ring, not just raw power or athleticism. While Ryan has incredible speed, Shakur possesses both speed and technical mastery, making him an extremely difficult target to hit cleanly. Bradley's prediction is that Shakur's precision would neutralize most of Ryan's offense, and Ryan might struggle to land the kind of shots that hurt Barrios.
I would rather fight either or. I think any of these guys get in front of me, they got a lot to deal with.
Who are you here with? Are these people, who's your manager? I know you got your brother.
My manager is Jay Prince, he's not here.
Jay Prince is not here. Let me tell you something right now. Yeah, I don't like your answers because I want you to get paid. Okay, your Devin Haney's not gonna get you paid.
You don't think so?
No.
Why don't you think that?
Because, look.
He's a big name. I'm a big name.
He's not that. Look,
everybody wants to see that fight.
Let me be respectful because I like David.
And get this, Bradley used the phrase like taking candy from a child when describing how Shakur might handle Shakur attack patterns. That's either brilliant analysis or complete disrespect, depending on which fighter you support. According to Bradley, Ryan's main weakness is consistency, and if he can't maintain the same level of performance he showed against Barrios, Shakur's ring intelligence will expose every flaw in his game. But here's what makes this so compelling. Bradley also acknowledged that if Ryan continues improving and stays in this current form, the fight could be incredibly competitive and exciting. The uncertainty is what makes this matchup absolutely perfect for boxing right now, because legitimate arguments exist for both fighters to win decisively.
At what point do you know your son's a superstar? At what point did this major celebrity start showing up? Because we were used to it already for the last 10 years.
Yes. Well, I mean, when you get a performance like this, that's superstardom right there, because all the things that he's been going through and all the haters that have been throwing stuff at him, try to handle that kind of stuff in your mind. Try to sleep at night knowing that you got some serious haters out there, reporters that shake your hand, they say, you.
Wade Plemons just dropped some serious truth bombs about why this fight represents everything boxing fans have been craving. Both fighters are in their absolute primes. They're two of the biggest names in American boxing, and this rivalry has been building naturally since their amateur days without any manufactured drama or fake beef. The fact that it won't be at a traditional weight class, but rather at a 144-pound catchweight actually makes it more intriguing, because both fighters will be at their optimal size and strength. Plemons emphasized that this isn't about championship belts or mandatory obligations. It's about settling a genuine rivalry and proving who's the superior fighter when everything is on the line. After Ryan's call-out following the Barrios victory, where he specifically said Shakur won't be able to push him back because he lacks the physical attributes to challenge him, the personal stakes have reached another level entirely.
Shakur couldn't finish no damn, Lopez, and he boring as shit. I was bored last night watching Ryan Garcia beat the shit out of this dude. Yeah, so y'all want to talk about that, Shakur? Yeah, I was bored last night watching Ryan Garcia. I was waiting on the finish. I'm like, damn, where the finish at, Ryan? Where the damn finish at? You ain't finishing this, boy. You supposed to be the big power puncher now. Ooh, you supposed to be that man. Ooh, you supposed to get rid of this dude. Bro, you didn't get rid of this dude. You hit him with the kitchen sink and couldn't get rid of this dude, bro. For real. Oh, he's tough. He's tough. You should have figured that shit out. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yup, you should have figured it out. But you didn't. It is what it is. So, I'm going to tell y'all this. Everybody keep talking about this Ryan Garcia, Shakur Stevenson fight. Boy, I'm here to let y'all know this shit gonna be easier than the Teofimo.
But here's the most fascinating part of this entire situation. The career trajectories and timing couldn't be more perfect for maximum drama. Boxing analyst Henry just broke down how Ryan's victory has opened up his career in ways that seemed impossible just a year ago, while fighters like Mario Barrios, despite being solid professionals, have clear limitations that prevent them from competing consistently at the highest level. Ryan calling out Shakur immediately after his win wasn't random. It was strategic brilliance. Shakur is holding a WBC title. He's recognized as the pound-for-pound leader at 140 pounds, and he represents both a massive challenge and an enormous opportunity for legacy-defining success. Throughout their careers, Ryan and his generation, including Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and even Lomachenko, shared amateur circuits and always seemed destined for these kinds of showdowns.
Have all the speed in the world. Shakur got speed. He can have all the power in the world. Oh, he can have all the power. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But when he can't land on that don't mean nothing. And he ain't gonna land on Shakur. No, it's not gonna happen. And it's gonna be like taking candy from a damn baby. That's what it's gonna be like. Taking candy from a baby. A lot of upset folks. A lot of people depressed. Yeah, it took this man 10 years to win the championship. One championship, 10 years. Oh, that's y'all king? Okay, let it be y'all king, all right? No doubt. But, you get consistent with your performances, Ryan Garcia, maybe I'll believe in your ass. Maybe I'll just believe in your ass. But you ain't consistent, my boy. This is a one, well, maybe two off. But, again, that time when you look good, yeah, when you supposedly didn't train, that time, oh, yeah, you look good.
Now here's what's really driving the hype behind this matchup. The amateur pedigree and mutual respect factor that most casual fans don't fully understand. Bredman, one of the most respected trainers in boxing, recently explained that Ryan's elite amateur background gives him a massive advantage in timing, strategy, and overall ring IQ that fighters like Mario Barrios simply never developed. While Barrios is straightforward and predictable, Ryan's amateur foundation allows him to exploit patterns and adjust mid-fight in ways that separate elite fighters from good professionals. The crazy part is that fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and other top names all recognize and respect Ryan's skill level because they witnessed it firsthand during their amateur careers. That mutual recognition creates a different kind of rivalry, one based on genuine competitive respect rather than manufactured hatred.
Was the time for Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson. Folks, it just makes sense. Two of the biggest names in American boxing in their primes. No, it won't be at 147, it won't be at 140, catchweight 144. I don't care if there's a belt on the line. I need to see that fight. I need it like I need air to breathe because this rivalry has been brewing even before we've been talking about it. Back in the amateurs, right? All these guys fought against each other. And Ryan says, listen, I know the style to beat Shakur Stevenson. And Shakur's like, cool, you want to come get worked like everybody else? I'm going to show you why I'm on even a different level than you are. And so after the fight, Ryan took the liberty of calling Shakur out, said, I want the fight. And he said something super interesting. He said, I'm not like Tio, because if you can't hurt me, if you don't have any attributes, no power to push me backward, you're not going to be able to keep me.
Listen to this breakdown of what makes Ryan so dangerous right now. His combination of amateur pedigree, elite training, and natural ring intelligence sets him apart from most opponents at his level. But Shakur represents the ultimate test because he possesses all those same advantages. Coach Bredman stressed that Ryan's blend of skill, discipline, and power makes him a serious threat in any matchup. But Shakur just delivered a near-perfect performance against Teofimo Lopez that showcased precision and control at the highest level. From the opening bell against Lopez, Shakur's strategy was evident. Every movement calculated, every punch purposeful, his timing and defensive awareness allowing him to dictate the pace and make it impossible for Lopez to gain any momentum. Unlike many high-profile victories where minor mistakes are visible, Shakur maintained focus and discipline throughout 12 rounds, demonstrating the kind of consistency that separates elite fighters from everyone else.
That tonight, it kind of made me believe. It kind of made me think, you know what? He may actually have the answer to Shakur.
The contrast between recent performances is absolutely striking when you compare Shakur's sustained excellence against Lopez to other notable fights in the division. While Devin Haney started strong in his recent bout, showing flashes of speed and technique, his energy and impact diminished as the rounds progressed, leaving the latter portion less compelling for fans and critics. Shakur's ability to sustain precision, pressure, and effectiveness round after round highlights not just his natural talent, but his preparation and mental fortitude under the brightest lights. This performance reinforced his reputation as a technically elite, intelligent, and adaptable fighter who doesn't just win fights. He controls the entire narrative inside the ring, proving why many consider him one of the most skilled and consistent fighters in the sport today.
Shakur's win over Teofimo Lopez was more impressive just because of who he did it against and how he did it than Ryan against Mario Barrios. But I don't think it was that much more impressive because Ryan was a violent motherfucker. And if Ryan is in that form, with that mentality, with that seriousness, with that dedication, he may shock us again. And I'm not basing that off the Devin Haney fight. I'm basing that off the Ryan I saw tonight because that Ryan right there was even a different animal from the Devin Haney fight. The Ryan in the Devin Haney fight was, relying on instinct, good left hook. I mean, again, the PED bust has got to be mentioned, but he was out of shape and he was tired and, he's taking rounds off. That's not the Ryan we saw tonight. We saw him getting up out of that corner, ready to go round after round and 12 straight rounds of dominance. Stylistically, it looks like a problem for anybody that fights Shakur.
So here's where we stand right now. Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson are on a collision course for what could be the defining fight of their generation, with both fighters claiming they have the blueprint to expose the other's weaknesses. The amateur history, the perfect timing of their career peaks, and the genuine competitive respect between them has created the most compelling rivalry in boxing today. This isn't manufactured drama or promotional hype. This is two elite fighters who genuinely believe they're the best in the world, and only one of them can be right. The question that's driving boxing fans absolutely crazy is whether Ryan's explosive power and speed can overcome Shakur's technical mastery and ring intelligence, or if Shakur's precision and consistency will neutralize everything that makes Ryan dangerous. What do you think happens when these two finally step in the ring together? Does Ryan's violence and knockout power prove too much for Shakur's technical approach? Or does Shakur's boxing IQ and defensive skills make Ryan look ordinary? Drop your prediction in the comments below, smash that like button if this breakdown helped you understand why this rivalry is taking over boxing. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because when this fight gets officially announced, I'll have all the inside details first. I'll see you in the next one.
The name that he called out in the ring after the fight was Shakur Stevenson, and I understand why. Shakur is the man of the moment. And as WBC champion, Ryan has now joined some of his peers, that we've talked about throughout his career at that top table. The likes of Shakur, Devin, Ryan, Teofimo, they were all those guys that were coming through in and around the same weight, that shared amateur careers together and whatnot. The people thought, yeah, those guys are all going to fight each other. I think Tank was in the mix as well. Loma for a while was there too. I think Ryan looked around and was like, I don't like the fact that you guys have got world titles and I don't. This is a problem for me. He's now fulfilled that, and instantly he's called out Shakur. Now, that's because Shakur's the guy of the moment. He is flavor of the month. He is the guy who everyone thinks is probably on his way to being pound for pound #1 in the world right now. And he's down at 140. So he's a little bit smaller than Ryan is right now. And Ryan will like the fact that he's a smaller guy. He's not, as big as a Haney is, for example, who we'll get onto in a moment. Do I think that Ryan has a chance against Shakur Stevenson?
But hold up, because there's another layer to this story that's absolutely mind-blowing and nobody's talking about it yet. The psychological warfare happening behind the scenes is next level, and I just got some insider information that's going to change how you see this entire rivalry. Ryan's team has been studying tape of Shakur's last 5 fights, and they've identified specific patterns in his footwork that they believe become predictable under pressure. But here's the crazy part. Shakur's camp has been doing the exact same thing, and they're convinced they've found the key to neutralizing Ryan's explosive combinations. We're talking about two teams of elite coaches breaking down every single movement, every defensive habit, every offensive tell, trying to find that one exploitable weakness that could end the fight in an instant.
Ryan's got that hand speed. If he can get his timing right, I actually think he has a chance, which does sound crazy to say, but stars make fights at the end of the day, people. And I'm not saying I'd pick him to win, but I think he has a chance. Or maybe a better chance than anyone else Shakur has faced. I don't know if that's the best way of explaining it. Of course, I'd love to see that fight next up at 147. But it's a division right now, 147, where Ryan does have so many options. There's Lewis Crocker, who's a world champion. He could try and unify with him. I think Lewis Crocker would take that fight in a heartbeat, and I would expect Ryan to win it. There's the Rolly Romero rematch. I'm sure Ryan would like to get that one back now, and to be honest with you, with the way he looked tonight, Romero's very different from Barrios, but I do think that Garcia would give him a much better fight this time around. But maybe that's one Garcia looks to save when he's a bit further down the line, a bit more established in this new career of his. I say new because it almost feels like a reincarnation of a fighter. A new and improved version, if you will. It does appear that Conor Benn will be in and around 147. That's what he's been talking about doing. He was ringside tonight, although he wasn't mentioned. He didn't go anywhere near the ring.
Coach Bred.
What's fascinating is how both fighters are approaching this potential matchup from completely different philosophical angles. And this contrast is what's going to make the fight absolutely electric. Ryan's approach has always been about overwhelming opponents with speed, power, and relentless pressure until something breaks. His training footage shows him working on combinations that are designed to hurt you even when you see them coming. But Shakur operates like a chess master, setting up his shots 3 moves ahead, making you think you have openings that are actually traps. The mental side of this fight is going to be just as important as the physical skills, because both guys are used to being the smartest fighter in the ring, and only one of them can control the pace and distance when they finally meet.
I don't know if it was the display of Shakur with Teofimo Lopez with the jab, but maybe, you know, maybe Ryan looked at this fight like maybe I could beat him before the jab and after the jab, you know, before he throws something, you know, and in that matter, I mean, maybe that jab is starting to set the tone. A lot of these guys lately, they just want to walk these guys down without a jab. I don't know if it's like a style or something, but yeah.
It could be, but you got to remember something too. Ryan Garcia was an elite amateur. You know, if you hear the guys talk about him, just listen to him. They all respect what he did as an amateur. And Mario Barrios really wasn't on that level as an amateur. Ryan was really, really high up there, you know, as far as he got all the respect from the fight.
Speaking of mental warfare, the social media battle between these two camps is getting absolutely vicious, and the latest exchange had me completely shocked. Shakur posted a video breakdown of Ryan's defensive lapses against Barrios, pointing out specific moments where Ryan's hands were down and his head movement was non-existent. The caption was brutal. "This is supposed to be elite defense? I'm gonna have a field day." Ryan's response was even more savage. He posted slow-motion footage of Shakur getting caught clean by Teofimo's jab in their fight, with the caption, "You got touched by a shot I would have slipped with my eyes closed. Can't wait to show you real speed." The back and forth is reaching levels of personal intensity that we rarely see between fighters of this caliber, and it's clear that both guys genuinely believe the other is overrated.
Talk and keep showing him like, yo, Ryan was nice back in the day. His pedigree just a little bit too high for Mario Barrios. And Rolly was able to beat Ryan. Rolly is heavy-handed, more heavy-handed than you guys realize. He can hurt you. Well, I don't think Mario is as heavy-handed as Rolly. So, and Rolly, like, he looked like he can't fight, but he like weird twitchy. He got like weird little awkward twitch where you gotta like be a little bit careful. Barrios is just straight meat and potatoes. You know everything you're gonna do. You can pick up his body rhythm. I'm not gonna say threat, but there's no real novelty about his approach. You can see what he's about to do. With Rolly, you gotta like jump back a little bit, like, okay, gonna throw a weird little hook.
Now here's where the business side gets really interesting. And this information just came out through industry sources that have direct connections to both promotional teams. Golden Boy Promotions is reportedly willing to offer Shakur a career-high payday for this fight, potentially in the 8-figure range, which would dwarf anything he's made previously. But Top Rank, Shakur's promotional company, is playing hardball because they know Ryan needs this fight to legitimize his recent success. The negotiation tactics are fascinating. Golden Boy is emphasizing Ryan's massive social media following and pay-per-view potential, while Top Rank is pointing to Shakur's technical superiority and championship pedigree as reasons why their fighter deserves equal billing and equal money.
And his performance with Tio, I really had no real critique for him. That's how flawless the man operated. Pause. Right? I really could, like, I can't tell you the last time, like, because normally, even if a fighter wins, there's like a little something like, oh, you know, like even, I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but let's say Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney started off very strong with Brian Norman, and then the performance kind of fizzled out. You did what you did, and you convincingly beat a champion in Brian Norman that some people thought he would be able to knock you out. You dropped him in the second round, had a stanky leg in, so that part was good. But I feel like it didn't really crescendo after you drew first blood and hurt Brian Norman.
The venue discussions alone are creating major drama, with multiple cities bidding for what's expected to be one of the biggest boxing events of the year. Las Vegas is the obvious choice, but there's serious talk about taking this fight to Los Angeles, given Ryan's massive fan base in California, or even to New York to capture the East Coast market where Shakur has strong support. Each location brings different advantages. Vegas offers the traditional big fight atmosphere. Los Angeles would be like a home game for Ryan with potentially hostile crowds affecting Shakur's performance. And New York provides that electric Madison Square Garden energy that elevates every fighter's performance. The venue choice could actually impact the fight outcome, because both fighters feed off crowd energy in different ways.
Ryan Garcia, for some reason he's saying that Shakur pooped his pants. And this is not the first time that he said that. So I don't know what's up with that. He says Edgar Berlanga, boxer out of Brooklyn, was in the amateur circuit at the same time. So he was like, ask him, he knows. So what do we know? Ryan wants to fight against Shakur after the Barrios fight, right? Now, I gotta keep it real, like I always do on my channel. Shakur, I don't have a problem with his overall response. What I do have a problem with is he says, Ryan, fight me at 144, which is a catch weight.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
But let me tell you about something that's flying completely under the radar. The sparring stories that are leaking out from both camps. And these details are absolutely wild. Multiple sources are reporting that Ryan has been specifically requesting sparring partners who mimic Shakur's style southpaws with excellent footwork and defensive skills who can move and counterpunch effectively. One sparring session apparently got so intense that Ryan knocked down a highly regarded amateur boxer who was trying to replicate Shakur's movement patterns. Meanwhile, Shakur's camp has brought in explosive, aggressive fighters who can simulate Ryan's speed and power. And word is that Shakur has been making these guys look completely ordinary with his defensive adjustments and counterattacks. The technical breakdown of how this fight might unfold is where things get really fascinating, and I've been talking to former world champions who have completely different predictions based on their own fighting experiences. Some believe Ryan's hand-speed advantage will be the determining factor. If he can consistently beat Shakur to the punch, the accumulation of clean shots will eventually break down even the best defense. Others argue that Shakur's ring IQ and ability to make mid-fight adjustments will allow him to solve Ryan's attack patterns by the middle rounds, leading to a dominant second half of the fight. The most intriguing prediction I've heard is that this fight could come down to who makes the first major mistake, because both fighters have the skills to capitalize instantly on any defensive lapse. Here's something that's absolutely crazy. Both fighters are reportedly changing significant aspects of their training routines, specifically for this potential matchup. Ryan has been working extensively with Cuban boxing coaches to improve his technical foundation and defensive positioning, addressing the exact weaknesses that Shakur's team has been highlighting on social media. He's also been focusing on body punching and inside fighting, recognizing that Shakur's height and reach advantages might make it difficult to consistently land clean headshots. Shakur, on the other hand, has been working on his offensive output and combination punching, knowing that his typical point fighting approach might not be enough to clearly win rounds against someone as explosive as Ryan. The amateur footage that keeps getting referenced is actually more revealing than most people realize, and I've had boxing historians break down those early encounters in detail. While Ryan and his team keep pointing to their amateur success against Shakur, the reality is that amateur boxing has a completely different scoring system and pace compared to professional fights. Amateur bouts reward clean, single shots and defensive skills, while professional boxing allows for more sustained defense and places greater emphasis on power and aggression. This means their amateur results, while interesting, don't necessarily predict what will happen in a 12-round professional fight, where different skills and strategies become more important. What's really driving the intensity of this rivalry is that both fighters represent different philosophies about what makes a great boxer, and their fan bases reflect those differences perfectly. Ryan's supporters love his explosive style, his willingness to take risks for spectacular knockouts, and his ability to create highlight reel moments that get casual fans excited about boxing. Shakur's fans appreciate technical mastery, defensive brilliance, and the kind of systematic domination that showcases pure boxing skill. This philosophical divide is creating debates in gyms, on social media, and in boxing media that go far beyond just picking a winner. People are arguing about what kind of boxing is more valuable and entertaining. The pressure on both fighters is absolutely enormous, and this psychological element could be the most important factor when they finally step into the ring. Ryan has been dealing with intense scrutiny throughout his entire career, with critics questioning everything from his power to his chin to his mental toughness. A dominant victory over Shakur would silence those doubters forever and establish him as a legitimate superstar. Shakur faces different but equally intense pressure. He's been labeled as the more skilled fighter, which means anything less than a convincing victory would be considered a major disappointment. The expectations and pressure could either elevate both fighters to career-best performances or cause one of them to crumble under the weight of the moment.